negotiation. Back then, speed felt normal. Today the road feels different. The watch still counts, but the body asks questions. Pacing change, recovery matters. Longevity rewrote the contract. But sometimes on certain miles I feel it just ahead. The ghost of my PR still running that old rhythm. The ghost of my PR runs beside me, not mocking, not waiting, just reminding who I was and who I still might be. The younger runner chased numbers. Today I chase staying miles that last years, not minutes. Consistency over speed. The ghost never fades, it appears on good days, quietly pulling one stride forward. The ghost of my PR still moves through memory, through muscle, not demanding, just present in every honest mile. Maybe it was never a rival. Maybe it was always a reminder. The ghost of my PR doesn't haunt, it guides, not faster, just farther, through years, through miles, through patience. Somewhere ahead I still see the runner. Watch still measures every mile. Numbers appear without emotion. Once they were faster, easy to claim. Now the road asks patience. The body negotiates with distance. Stride adjusted, breath steadier. Years pass quietly through training cycles, intervals, long runs, ordinary mornings. Speed changed, but something refused to disappear. Not the speed of youth, not the reckless early miles, but another rhythm learned slowly through staying. The speed that stayed is quieter, not chasing seconds, not proving anything, just knowing how to move through miles that matter. The younger runner rushed the road today. I read it, fatigue, terrain, breath, signals once ignored. Longevity rewrites success, speed fades, experience remains, and the road recognizes both. The speed that stayed lives inside every decision, every adjustment. Not louder, not faster, but wiser through distance. Some speed belongs to youth, some speed belongs to patience. That state is not measured by the watch, but by the miles still waiting ahead. The numbers changed, but the runner didn't stop. The street outside looks the same. No signal that today matters. Shoes by the door, watch on the table, morning air, waiting quietly. The run hasn't moved yet, but something already shifted. Years ago I believed a run began with movement. Tap, start, chase the numbers, split by split, but time taught something quieter. A run begins before the miles, before the pace, before the rhythm. It begins in a decision most people never see. The moment a run starts is silent. No crowd, no countdown, just a runner standing still, choosing to go. Recovery days reshape the patience, holding back is discipline. Progress hides inside repetition, inside the habit of returning again. Miles will follow inevitably, but identity forms earlier, before movement, before effort, before fatigue. The moment a run starts is simple, a quiet step toward the door. Nothing heroic, just showing up. Sees distance, but runners know the real start happens before the road. The moment a run starts is invisible, before the watch, before the mile, before the rhythm. A runner already decided to move. The door opens, the watch begins, but the run started earlier. The run hasn't started yet, shoes still by the door, the road outside unchanged, but the decision already happened before the watch, before the pace, before the first step. Running doesn't create identity, it reveals it. The quiet choice to show up again, even when nothing waits. No crowd, no result. Anyone can run once. Motivation is temporary, but consistency is a decision made long before the road. Identity is chosen before the run, before the miles, before the sweat, before the doubt. A runner is built in the moment they decide to go. Some chase speed, some chase distance, some chase silence. The road accepts them all, but the runner already knows why they tie the shoes. Progress rarely looks heroic, just ordinary days repeating. Patience over spectacle, longevity over noise. Identity is chosen before the run, not by pace, not by applause, but by returning again and again. existed. Another run without witnesses. Shoes on asphalt, steady but slow. No race ahead, no urgency. Just the quiet habit of showing up. The legs remember yesterday's fatigue. The mind suggests a shorter route. Negotiations begin. Years ago, pace was everything. Seconds mattered, splits defined the day. Now distance speaks differently. Longevity rearranged the rules. Restraint guides the stride. Consistency writes the story. Most miles live unseen. No headlines for returning. Just quiet effort day after day. Identity forming through repetition. Running is mostly staying. Then it happened. The runner heard it, a voice from somewhere near the road. Not loud, not dramatic, just enough to move a tired stride forward. Recovery days taught patience. Holding back became discipline. Progress hides inside restraint. The road rewards those who remain. No spectacle, no noise, just miles stacking quietly. Most people never notice morning runs before the city wakes. Evening miles after long days. Invisible work, quiet persistence. But the road keeps record of every return. And again, the runner heard it, a simple, nice run. Nothing heroic, but enough to carry another mile. It's mostly running is mostly and again, the runner heard it, a simple, nice run. Nothing heroic, but enough to carry another mile. Running is mostly running is mostly running is mostly that entire dialogue. Because sometimes the runner hears it and the road changes. Fatigue softens, distance opens. Not faster, just farther. One voice, one stride. The run continues. Some runs begin without conviction, shoes tied, but the mind still negotiating. The body remembers yesterday's fatigue, a quiet debate between staying and stepping outside. The clock says go, but the will hesitates. Years ago I chased seconds, split times, measured everything. Now the numbers feel distant, pacing, change, restraint replaced impulse. Longevity quietly rewrote the rules. No one waits for this run, teach patience. Progress hides inside repetition. Most miles look ordinary, but ordinary is where staying happens, where runners are quietly formed. No headlines for discipline, no medals for returning tomorrow, but the road keeps record of every time I showed up, even when no one noticed. Then suddenly one voice matters, a simple keep going from the side of the road, and the distance ahead no longer feels so heavy. Running is mostly conversation with yourself, but every now and then someone interrupts the doubt, and the road opens again. More than pace, more than pride, just enough to remind a runner why he stayed. Step, the run continues. I didn't wake up with a plan, no breakthrough on my mind. Just the same road waiting like it always does. The body felt familiar, not fresh, not broken, just carrying what yesterday left behind. I've chased numbers, tried to define what progress means in lines in time. One step ahead today, not far, not fast, just beyond where I stopped yesterday, and that is enough. The first steps don't feel different, same breath, same weight, no signal that this will matter yet. But something quietly builds, not in speed, not in distance, but in continuing. I've waited for the right day, clear mind, strong body, but it never arrived that way. One step ahead today, without proof, without promise, just a small shift that stays longer than doubt. The road doesn't change, it reflects what I bring into it each time I return. And today I brought just enough to not stay the same. No finish line for this, no moment to hold, just distance that quietly increases. One step ahead today, not visible, not loud, just a direction that didn't exist before. Not every step needs to prove something, some just need to happen. Whoa. One step ahead today, and tomorrow will follow. Not because I planned it, but because I moved today. No leap, no change, just one step ahead. He used to map exits before he began, not fear, just awareness. A quiet understanding of where it could end if needed. She carried alternatives like backup plans, shorter routes, easier pace, options folded neatly into every run, just in case. It wasn't weakness, just structure, a way to remain in control of the outcome. The choice that disappeared didn't break, didn't close, it just faded from reach, somewhere between one step and the next. Another runner held the same pattern, measured effort, calculated strain, knowing exactly how far was enough. But something shifted without warning, not the body, not the pace, just the relevance of stopping began to dissolve. No decision marked it, no moment defined it, just a gradual loss of that option. The choice that disappeared was still there, in theory unchanged, but it no longer fit into the way I moved. The road stretched as it always had, same turns, same distance, but the questions felt different, less urgent, less present. He noticed it late, almost missed it, that familiar thought, you can stop here, arrived, but didn't stay. Not resisted, not ignored, just unanswered and gone. The choice that disappeared wasn't taken, wasn't refused, it simply lost its place in what I continued to do. Not everything ends with intent, some things fade when they're no longer used. A path once available becomes distant, not close, just irrelevant to the direction. You've become the choice that disappeared, left nothing behind, no gap, no absence, just a quieter way of continuing without looking for it again. It didn't vanish, I just stopped reaching for it. The machine hums like always, nothing unusual. Same detergent, same cycle, but I know this isn't just routine. Clothes I've worn through everything, early starts, unfinished runs, days I stayed, days I left, all turning slowly again. No one would notice what this is, no signal, no announcement, just a quiet act before something ends. The last watch before I go, not dramatic, not loud, just letting go of what stayed longer than it should. The fabric holds more than sweat, more than distance, more than I said out loud when I didn't have words. I thought I needed more time, more clarity, more reason, but this feels final. Not because everything is clear, but because I'm no longer waiting. The last wash doesn't fix anything, it just separates what I carry from what I release. The cycle ends, no signal, no shift, just stillness after motion, like something has settled inside. I don't check, I don't rush, no need to confirm, I already know this part is over. No return to how it was, no reason to keep it unchanged. haven't named, not lighter, not heavier, just different. Some endings don't speak, they just stop holding on. The last wash was enough, not closure, not resolution, just the moment I didn't take it back. The machine stops, the room stays, and I leave. I didn't decide to stay, no clear reason held me, just a moment that didn't end when it could have. The room was quiet, unchanged, nothing pulled, nothing pushed. Still, I didn't leave when leaving made sense. I've had reasons before, clear intentions, defined lines, but this had none and still remained. No thought, still here, no answer, still present, nothing driving, nothing stopping, just remaining. The road didn't call, it existed. The steps didn't lead, they happened. Time passed unnoticed, yet I stayed. Someone moved past, or maybe not. I didn't check, didn't follow. The world kept its distance, and I kept mine. I left for less, stopped for nothing, but this didn't end. No thought, still here, no meaning, still real, no direction, no movement, just not leaving. Stillness held weight, not pressure, not force, just presence that didn't fade. Nothing changed around me, but something refused to disappear inside. No moment to define, no shift to mark, still something remained. No thought, still here, no reason, still true, no decision, still staying, and that was enough. Not everything needs movement, some things just don't leave. No thought, still here, and now I see, not why, not how, just that I remain. No start, no end, still here. Nothing to say about today, no change I can name, just the same route holding another quiet return. The body moved without comment, no signal, no shift, just repetition that didn't ask to be noticed. I've looked for proof, something clear, numbers, lines, a reason to confirm it's working. Progress without a voice doesn't speak, doesn't show, it moves beneath what I can tell, and still it grows. The breath stayed unchanged, no easier, no harder, just a rhythm that continues without explanation. There were moments I questioned if this was anything or just time repeating. I've waited for something to answer back, a sign, a shift, a difference I could hold. Progress without a voice doesn't prove, doesn't ask, it forms beyond what I follow. not in time, just in how I came back again without thinking. No moment to define, no change to announce, just accumulation without language. Progress without a voice still counts, still stays, not because it's heard, but because it remains. Not everything needs words, some things become before they're known. And silence doesn't mean nothing changed, it means it's deeper than that. Progress without a voice becomes who I am, not loudly, not clearly, but through everything I kept doing. No voice, no proof, still it moved. Nothing changed on the surface, same route, same pace, no sign of anything becoming different. I checked for proof in the usual places, time, distance, how it felt, but everything looked the same. I've trusted numbers, visible shift, something I could point to and say it's working. Invisible progress doesn't show, doesn't ask, it stays beyond what I can measure, and still it builds. The body repeats what it knows, no breakthrough, no sudden gain, just movement that doesn't announce itself. There were moments I questioned if anything was changing, or if I was just moving in place. I've waited for something clear, a shift I could feel, but this doesn't arrive that way. Invisible progress doesn't prove, doesn't speak, it forms in ways I don't notice yet. The road gives nothing back, no feedback, no signal, just the same distance every time. But something holds after I leave, not in numbers, not in form, but in how I return. No moment to define, no point to mark, just accumulation without attention. Invisible progress still counts, still stays, not because it's seen, but because it remains. Not everything that grows appears, some things become before they show. And what I can't see today might already be shaping everything ahead. Invisible progress becomes who I am, not suddenly, not clearly, but through everything I kept doing. No sign, no proof, still it changed. No alarm pushed me out, no pleasure to perform, just a quiet decision for name beef store, I named it. Shoes by the door like always, nothing changed, nothing new, still I reach for them again. I've skipped days, let them pass, called it rest, called it enough. No one questioned why I stayed. I choose to run again today, not required, not owed, just a line I step into without being told. The body feels what it feels, no better, no worse, just carrying what yesterday left behind. The road doesn't ask for a reason, it doesn't care if I explain, still I return to it. I've waited to feel ready, to feel driven, to feel sure, but that doesn't decide this. I choose to run again today, without proof, without plan, just a direction I continue with my own I choose to run again today. 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 And tomorrow will come, not because I forced it, but because I chose today. No reason, no proof still. I choose. Gonna stop before the final change. No second look, no extra pass. Just closed it as it was and left it there. The details stayed slightly uneven, nothing aligned the way I planned. Still, I didn't reach to fix it. I've shaped things until they held, refined them until they made sense. But something always shifted again. Left as it is, no correction, no final form to prove. Just everything I didn't change, still here with me. The urge appears to adjust to smooth edges, to complete familiar motion I used to trust without pause. But now it passes without action. No need to respond, no need to improve what I brought. I've waited for the right shape, clear lines, perfect form, but nothing arrives finished. Left as it is, unfinished, uncertain, no better version to reach. Just this state I stayed in. The road doesn't ask for precision, it doesn't check what I fixed. It takes what shows up as it stands. And today I showed up without editing, without change, just the version that remained through everything. No more shaping, no more revising, just what I carried into this. No more shaping, no more revising, just what I carried into this. Left as it is, no disguise, no repair, just real in a way I don't need to explain. Some things don't need to be finished, they hold as they are. And what remains without change is closer to truth than anything refined. Left as it is, and I step forward, not because it's complete, but because I didn't turn away. No edits, no change, still moving. I almost stayed in that chair, checked the time twice, like delay could soften what I knew was waiting. Shoes by the door felt heavier, not from miles, but from everything. I hadn't settled yet. I stood here before, looking for signs, some kind of certainty that never came on time. Not perfect, still present, no clean answer, no final shape, just showing up with everything that didn't resolve. The body remembers what I've done, even when I don't credit it correctly. There were days I cut short, days I stayed longer, none of them fit neatly into one story. I've tried to rewrite how I got here, make it clearer, more complete, but it doesn't hold that way. I need to follow, no doubt. I need to solve, just space between them now. Not perfect, still presence, no alignment to prove. Just standing here when leaving would have been easier. Some strength isn't loud, it's the absence of leaving when nothing holds you. And this right here isn't small, even if no one sees it. Not perfect, still present, and that is enough. Not to win, not to prove, but to remain. No answer, no signal, still here. I didn't notice what would stay. No moment to decide what mattered enough to remain. Some things faded without sound, some disappeared along the way, but a few kept returning without asking. I tried to choose what to keep, what to build, what to become, but it never worked that cleanly. What stayed became me, not plans, not shape, just everything that remained when other things fell away. There were efforts that didn't last, goals that didn't hold, things I thought would define me but didn't. And then there were smaller things, quiet habits, repeated days that never left. Even when I questioned them, I've looked for meaning in big moments, clear shifts to visible change, but this didn't form that way. What stayed became me, without asking, without proof. Not built in a line, but in what refused to disappear. For someone, it's showing up. For someone, just a day. For someone, it's holding on when letting go made sense. And none of it looks the same, still it gathers into something they carry forward. No scale to measure, no line to reach, just time that shaped what remained. What stayed became me, still counts, still holds. Not because it's visible, but because it endured. Not everything you do becomes you, only what you don't let go of, and what you carry through time quietly becomes more real than anything you choose once. What stayed became me is where I stand today. Not finished, not defined, but built from everything that remained. No design, no claim, still me. The days widened without warning, hours stretched past intention. No starting line, no familiar rhythm, just space that lingered. The shoes gathered a quiet layer, not dust but distance from something I used to enter without thinking. I searched for urgency, something to restart, a signal to resume, but nothing arrived in that form. The pause that stayed didn't end, didn't fade, it settled into the edges of how I moved without moving. For some, it's recovery, for some, uncertainty, for others, a silence they can't define. didn't break. The pause that stayed still counts, still holds, not because it moves, but because it didn't dissolve. Not every gap needs filling, some remain until they become part of you. And what you carry through stillness might shape more than motion ever could. The pause that stayed became where I stand, not lost, not delayed, just something I lived through. No return, no restart, still here. I drew the lines to beat myself quietly over time. Places I'd stop before I tried to go further. They felt correct, consistent, a way to understand what I could handle. I stayed within those edges, adjusted pace, held back steps to match what I believed was real. Beyond my own limits, no signal, no break, just a step that didn't follow where I said I'd stop. The body shifts slightly, breath tightens, then steadies. Nothing dramatic, just unfamiliar enough. I look for signs, something clear to confirm this is different, but nothing answers back. I've trusted patterns, repeated runs, what I've learned, what I've seen, but this doesn't stay inside them. Beyond my own limits, doesn't prove, doesn't ask. It forms outside what I defined before. The road continues past memory, no reference, no comparison, just distance without history. And something keeps going without checking if I belong in this space. No decision to force, no line to cross, just movement that didn't return to before. Beyond my own limits, still counts, still stays. Not because I understand, but because I didn't stop. Not every limit is real, some are drawn just to hold what you knew at the time. And what you find beyond them isn't strength, it's space you hadn't used yet. Beyond my own limits is where I stand today. Not clearly, not defined, but further than I allowed myself before. No break, no proof, still beyond. I didn't mark the distance, no check along the way, just the same steps repeating without announcement. Nothing felt remarkable, no sudden shift to hold, just a rhythm I stayed in longer than I thought. I've measured before, tracked every mile, look for proof, something clear to tell me I've moved further than I realized. Not louder, not clear, just a place I'm standing in before I knew I was here. There were days that felt the same, runs that blended into each other. Nothing special, nothing to keep at the time. But they stayed, they built in ways I didn't follow while I kept showing up. I've waited to feel stronger, to feel new, to feel ahead, but it didn't come like that. Further than I realized, not because I pushed, but because I didn't stop when it was easy to. For someone it's distance, for someone just today didn't think they'd reach. No comparison to hold, no line to match, just movement that stayed with me. Further than I realized, still counts, still stays. Not because it's seen, but because I didn't leave. Not every step needs to feel big, some just need to continue. And what you've done might already be more than you think right now. Not defined, but ahead of where I once was. No signal, no proof, still further. The traffic light changed twice before I caught my breath. Hoodie sleeve damp from wiping sweat away, while faster runners disappeared far beyond the next intersection. My running app kept speaking, split times I didn't like, numbers falling short of what when I first promised myself I would become stronger this year. It's easy to feel behind now, everyone moving visibly, posting victories, perfect training blocks, effort edited cleanly for small glowing screens every night. Going slowly still counts, even when progress feels invisible, even when your breathing sounds heavier than everyone around you, because continuing imperfectly still moves you farther than quitting comfortably ever will. Some nights I stop beside vending machines, pretending to stretch while secretly wondering if I was built for distances like these at all. But tired footsteps kept returning anyway, across familiar sidewalks, past closed restaurants, through humid air and half-finished self-belief again. I expected growth to feel more dramatic, but most change arrived quietly, through slower miles, through awkward beginnings, through not giving up on difficult weeks. Going slowly still counts, because endurance isn't always fast. Sometimes it looks like showing up exhausted, tying your shoes anyway, and jogging softly through another heavy evening. For someone, the slow pace is recovery. For someone, mental survival. For someone, the first attempt at rebuilding confidence after difficult years. And none of those journeys deserve shame, because comparison rarely shows the full weight someone carried before arriving here tonight. The older I become, the more I respect people willing to continue slowly, without applause, without shortcuts, without pretending the road feels easy. Going slowly still counts, I believe that deeply now, because some of the strongest people I've ever known once walked sections of roads they now run confidently through today. People celebrate speed because speed looks impressive, but slower progress teaches different things: patience, humility, and how to stay gentle with your soul. And maybe strength isn't becoming untouchable, maybe it's allowing yourself to grow honestly without rushing the person you're still becoming. Going slowly still counts, through crowded nights, through self-doubt, through every quiet mile where part of you wanted to stop completely, but kept moving forward anyway. Slow footsteps, steady heartbeat, still counting. The dream no longer shouted, it sat quietly now, like an old photograph creased at the corners. Carried through too many moves to throw away easily. There was a time I chased it loudly, mistaking urgency for devotion, believing speed alone could force life to open faster. But years have a way of sanding ambition down, removing performance, removing noise, until only the necessary parts remain, breathing underneath. Hope that age gracefully didn't burn brighter with time, it burned steadier. Surviving disappointment without becoming cynical, surviving reality without asking permission to stay.